Good morning and welcome back for a new vlog. I've gotten a lot of questions on my routines lately, so today I'm gonna show you my daily routines and how to stay productive. I am taking you in on all the apps that I'm using for scheduling, my morning routine, my self-care tips and everything in between, which is making it possible for me to maintain a productive lifestyle. And yeah, I think it will be very fun, so let's just get into it.
So the first hours of my day is probably the most important for my mental health and where I'm giving myself the best conditions for having a productive day. They really sets the tone for my productivity and mood for the rest of the day. I like to wake up early, so I usually wake up around 6 a.m., followed by going to the gym or a Pilates class. And the reason why I work out in the morning is because it gives me such an energy boost, and because I deal a lot with headache due to an old concussion, and I've learned that it helps me so much to spend the first few hours being active and just leave the house. It's like my body is a lot less tense, and it definitely loosens up the tensions in my neck area. So when I start my days like this, I just feel very calm and ready for the day. So when I get home, I take a shower and I do my skincare, and then I make myself some breakfast. I really prioritize these morning hours to myself, and I try to follow a rule saying no phone 30 minutes after waking up and no social media until coming home from the gym. It has done wonders for my mindset, so I can highly recommend that. And yeah, at this point, it's usually around 8:30 a.m., and then I am ready to start my day.
So next up in my routines is scheduling out my day in my to-do book and journaling. So now I will explain how I do it and why I do it. So let's get into that part.
When I've had my breakfast, I start today with journaling. Basically, just writing all my thoughts down and just letting myself ramble a lot. I don't do any grammar or anything, so I just let it all out, and it really leaves me with so much ease. I am a heavy overthinker, so this tool is honestly life saving for my mental health. And honestly, every time I'm not sticking to doing it for some reason, I can really feel how it affects my mood. So if you haven't tried yet, please give yourself the treat of prioritizing just 10 minutes a day and let all your thoughts out on paper. It is, for me, the best tool ever. And the reason why I always write my to do list in hand is because it gives me such a comfort having it written down. I remember it a lot better than if I just do it on my phone or computer. Yeah, I really love the old fashioned way, and I use it every single day. Every Sunday, I am planning the week ahead, writing in the things that I already know is scheduled on the current days. So that could be like this. And I know that I'm traveling from Monday to Wednesday, and then I write all my appointments here on Thursday, where I have a very packed day because of events and stuff like that. And yeah, this is just really a tool which helped me staying focused on my deadlines and important things that I have to remember, because I do tend to get distracted, and this is just very helpful for me. So that's why I write it down in my hand as well. And I am using the notebook from Aarhus Atelier, and I love that I can like check it off. It's such a pleasing thing for my mind, and I think that's why I love to write it in hand as well. It's just such a pleasing feeling when you can tick off things that you have put on your to-do list.
So that was my morning routine and things that I do basically every single morning, except if I am out traveling. But it has been really important for me to find some elements in my daily morning routine which I have the opportunity to be consistent with, as my days are very different and every day looks different from what I have to do. If I have travels coming up, if I have campaigns, and sometimes these things are coming in last minute, so I have to be quite adaptive. So now I am gonna show you the organizing and scheduling. This is basically how I schedule everything in which is related to work.
So, as you have seen many times before, I am using Notion to organize on my computer. I both have the Notion app and the Notion calendar. If we start off with the Notion app, I have made some different templates for myself. So I made one with like my personal dreams. This is basically where I put in my manifestations for the year. And then I have one for my TikTok where I have these different subjects so I can see like content planning, campaigns, and so on. It could look like this. And then I have one for my YouTube as well, basically the same and the same subjects. And then I have one for my Instagram. It's a little more advanced as I still do a lot more campaigns on my Instagram compared to the other social medias. So, yeah, that's basically how they are looking. And you can honestly do it just how you like it and what works the best for you. So, if we go to the Notion calendar, it's a new feature. This is where I block out like every hour throughout my day. So, every morning I block in how many hours I'm using on different things, and it could look like this. You have seen it many times on my Instagram. It could look like this, and you can see this week is about to end, so that's why it has like an overlay until today, which is Friday. If we are moving forward, I can try and type in how I would do it for the next upcoming week. Again, I know some of the things that I have to do, campaigns and so on, so I can write it in. So basically, I just start off with putting in my travel plans, and I put that in as a meeting because I have different colors for each of the topics. So I do have a color for TikTok, one for Instagram, and one for meetings. So I can like keep track of it and know which is what. And then I just plug it in at Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Then I simply just put in here that I still have to do like a post on my Instagram and what it is about, because then I know I can have it prepared before leaving. And then I put in what content is going up on Tuesday. It's not often that I know what I'm posting this far ahead, but as I'm traveling, I know that I won't really have the time to plan it while being away. And I basically just plug in my whole Thursday meetings, events, and content that I have to post and film. So that will be a very busy day. And then I go to Friday, something I gotta do in the morning, some admin work, and I just block out what I know that I have to do Friday as well. I am seeing Linnea. Then I am not sure what I'm gonna do in the weekend, so I am not really typing anything in there. I have a feeling of what I want to post, but I'm not sure yet. So that is basically how I schedule it out. I love this program so much. The smart thing is that when I go to my iMac, I have the same apps, and as soon as I open them, they have synchronized, so I have it on all of my devices, which I really love. That makes it so much easier.
So that is how I am using Notion. I have been using it for the past 2 years, but they just recently came out with the Notion calendar function. So that is quite new and I absolutely love it. As you could see, it's definitely a more deep scheduling than my to-do list. It really helps me getting an overview of my whole day and how long the different things are gonna take me. So I absolutely love it, and I get so many questions every time you see my schedulings on my Instagram. So I thought it was about time that I actually showed my templates. It definitely took me some time when I had to do all of the templates because I did them all myself. If you have done it, you really made it easy for yourself, because then it's just scheduling it all in every day. So that is one of the high maintenance things, so you can be low maintenance. When you have your own business, there's definitely also a lot of other practical admin work that you have to take care of. So I do my accounting every Friday to make it easier for myself. So it just works the best for me to put these things into my weekly routines. So I do that every Friday, and then I must say that I try to have everything which is and not really what I'm good at or interested in to be as automatic as possible. So next up is some self-care tips on how to maintain these kind of routines and what I do to keep being motivated and what I do if I feel unmotivated or burned out. So I have a few things that I really try to do for myself, because honestly I never really have an off duty day. That is basically just a part of the job when you choose to live off from sharing your life. But sometimes you really gotta focus a little bit on yourself, and I definitely think I have found some things which helps me feel like I still prioritize my own needs, and I am gonna share them.
So, speaking of self care tips, finding a good work life balance is probably my biggest challenge. And to this day, I still struggle with it a lot. But I do have some self care things which I try to practice for my own well being. And yeah, this is a very realistic footage of how our apartment often looks after a workday. And as I receive a lot of packages and I film a lot of content at home, just gets a mess very fast. So I basically clean up everything and tidy up the apartment at the end of the day. I feel so much more motivated when there isn't things all over and it isn't the first thing that I have to do when I wake up. So I really try to stay consistent with this, as with all of the other things above. At the end, I think consistency is key. And as I am basically never off duty, I do feel burned out sometimes. And these days, I remind myself to take a step back and only do what feels right for me the current day. So I try to take a few breaks throughout my day to read or go for a walk or simply see an episode of Sex and the City. And speaking of routines, I love my evening routine. This is where I prioritize my skincare and again, leaving the phone at least 30 minutes before going to sleep. It has really improved my sleep so much, and it makes me calm and stop overthinking about my schedules the next day before even falling asleep. So I would say it has probably improved my sleep by like 50%. So again, try it out. So that was a few of my self-care tips on how I try to stay motivated.
So that was a little bit about my daily routines and how I stay productive. So I hope you could use a little bit of it. Maybe you got some tips or some inspiration to find some routines which fit your schedule. I think my biggest tip is that you really try to listen to yourself and your own needs, because we are all different. Our bodies and minds works differently, so it's always important to remember that my routines and schedules doesn't necessarily work into your routines and schedules. So have in mind that this is just what works for me, and maybe you have the motivation to implement some new routines in your schedule. So yeah, I just wanted to show you a little bit of insights on how I try to maintain living a soft life, even though my schedule is quite hectic and I do have a lot of traveling in between. But when I started out being self-employed, I just quickly figured out that I needed some routines which I could stick to. As I mentioned earlier in the vlog, that I could do like at least my morning and night routine basically the same every day, because then I know how to get started and how I get the most energy and feel motivated and fresh, because there is nobody else than me to tell me when to start and when to stop. So I really had to learn some things about myself to figure out a path that suits me and what works the best for my mind and body. So that was it for this vlog, and let me know how you like it, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I will see you next Sunday for a very exciting vlog, because I am actually leaving for a brand trip tomorrow. So I cannot wait to show you where I'm going. It's been on my bucket list for so long, so I'm gonna vlog the trip, and that's what the next vlog will be. So until then, I hope you will have a lovely week, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye!